we're so grateful to have you, Imam, for coming. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. I want to say to you, Brother Musa and Yusuf, as you know, I've been here from the very beginning. I thoroughly enjoyed myself and really got a lot. And my little contribution tonight is all of the above, all hands on deck. And the condition of African Americans right now is probably worse than we think it is. I know we already know what the problems are. Let me just share this one thing with you. I'm going to make about 2 points, inshallah. I'm a researcher. I love the research, and I study demographics. But sometimes when you do research, it can be misleading. For instance, I found out that the United States is 45th on the list of all the nations of the highest life expectancy. The life expectancy for the average American is 78.6 years. A person is expected to live from 78.6 years. That's misleading. If you look at the African American man, his life expectancy is 71.5 years. And if you put them on the scale of the nations, we would be 111th. It's worse than we think. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "He who gets behind in a race must forever remain behind or run faster than the man up front." This is the dilemma that we face. And there are several models that we can think about. We can think about the model of Nelson Mandela, and I'll let you imagine what that's like. One of your speakers, beloved brother of mine, a good friend, respect him, Bashir Jones. He's a councilman in Cleveland, and one of the models is his model, doing it politically. Let me give an example. As you know, we talk about police reform, and there's been a lot of police brutality. Hardly a policeman convicted. But in Dallas last year, a white policewoman was convicted for killing a man in his apartment. You know about the case. But let me give you some facts to think about. The population of Dallas, 42% Hispanic, 29% white, 24% black. The mayor of Dallas, black. The police chief of Dallas, black. Dallas County District Attorney, black. The judge who presided over the case, black. Of the 12 jurors and 4 alternatives, 7 of them black, 4 white, and 5 other races. All of the above. John F. Kennedy said, "Those who would make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." We are peaceful, and we're trying to do it the right way, trying to be nonviolent, and we should. I'm definitely against, I don't even hesitate, I'm against people destroying property. That's not what we do, and we have to be patient. And then finally, my last remarks. There's a brother in my community, he told me one day, "Imam, I take 28 different medications every day." 28 different medications every day. And these medications aren't to cure him. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, "Ma anzalallah da'in illa anzalahu shafa'an." For every disease, there's a cure. There'll be a cure for COVID-19. There will be. That's the way it is. That's the way Allah made it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to find the cure so that we can protect ourselves. But really, the problem is that people seldom go to the root problem, and they go to symptoms. One of the presidential candidates, Bernie Sanders, last year had a heart attack. And he said, "I should have paid more attention to my symptoms." And what happens is that we spend time on symptoms rather than going to the root of the problem. I'll give you an example. Every one of us have had headaches. And many people, when they have headaches, they take an aspirin. And aspirin is really a lie because aspirins don't solve the problem. You see, what aspirins do, they go to the area of the pain and they deaden the nerve so you can't feel the pain. The pain is an indication that there's a problem. If you solve the problem, the pain will go away. If you deal with the symptoms of pain and give it medication, you'll be given medication for the rest of your life. What's my point? My point is, listen, let's be real. We got to go to the root of the problem. In 1400 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a cure for the sicknesses of man. When Allah sent Moses, Allah sent Jesus and Noah and Moses and all of the great prophets, he sent them to deal with the problem. Someone once asked the question, how long will the building stand? Answer, how strong is the foundation? We need the foundation, and the foundation, I swear by Allah, it is the oneness of Allah the Almighty. 23 years, revolutionary. Let me give an example. We have a major drug problem in our country. 70,000 people died of drug overdose. 47,000 people commit suicide. 480,000 people die as a result of smoking cigarettes. 41,000 people die as a result of secondhand smoke. They're not even trying to smoke. According to the World Health Organization, they said by the end of the 21st century, if the nations of the world do nothing about it, 1 billion people would have died as a result of smoking cigarettes. Think about this. We have a solution. I'm going to read something. I'm going to quote someone, and then I'm going to make 2 more statements, and then I'll be going. This statement was made by Daniel Pipes. Daniel Pipes is a critic of Islam, always writing against Muslims and against Islam. Listen to what he said in his book called Militant Islam Reaches America. Listen to a man who criticizes Islam and Muslims. Listen to what he said. Added to this internal confidence was the fact that Muslims enjoyed outstanding success during their first 6 or so centuries. To be a Muslim meant to belong to a winning civilization. This pattern of success started right at the beginning. In AD 622, Muhammad fled Mecca as a refugee and then returned there in 630 as its ruler. By the year 715, Muslim conquerors had assembled an empire that reached Spain in the west and India in the east. Muslims boasted some of the most powerful armies, the highest standards of living, the best health, the most impressive rates of literacy, and the most impressive scientific and technical advances. In the words of Martin Kramer, an historian, who said, had there been Nobel Prizes in 1,000, they would have gone almost exclusively to the Muslims. There is a cure. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm not putting anyone's religion down, but I'm saying I'm a Muslim. And I believe that the answer to the solution of all the problems that we face is Islam. Remember what Malcolm said. He said, you want to get eaten up by the wolf or tricked by the fox? We see the game that they're playing. We saw President Obama, the first African-American president. We saw what they did to him. We see what the present president is doing. Everything of good he did, they undo it. How long are we going to play this game? How long will we play the game? So my dear brothers and sisters, I'm saying to you is that, let me give you one example. I know I said I'm going to give you one more, and I know you're going to try to get rid of me. I know you want to get rid of me. You want to get rid of me. I know you want to get rid of me. Let me say this last thing. You know, 1400 years ago, there was an alcohol problem, a drug problem, if you would, among the Arabs. And you know what? When the Quran was revealed, the first 13 years in Mecca, Allah never mentioned anything about khamr or alcohol or intoxicants. And it wasn't until 4 years later, after the migration, Allah finally mentioned it, and Allah didn't mention it because Allah didn't initiate the issue. He said, "Yes, alunaka ana khamr wa maysir." Muhammad, they're asking you about intoxicants and gambling. So Allah not saying thou shalt not do this. He didn't do that. But what he did, he said they're asking. Why they're asking? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although he wasn't directly dealing with it, he was dealing with it. Until it got to the point where Allah said, "Fajtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun," leave it alone in order to be successful. And the people who used to drink alcohol would pour the alcohol in the streets once that verse was revealed. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, had Allah first revealed, "Thou shalt not drink khamra," the people would say, "La nad'u khamra abada." We will never give up alcohol. We will never give it up. So I will see Muslims, we have to stop saying, "Thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that." No. Don't worry about that. Go to the essence, go to Tawheed. Wallahi, if you go to Tawheed, you solve all the problems. Wallahi, you solve all the problems. Let me quote one more. And Musa and Yusuf, I don't tell everybody to read this book, but this book you too have to read. This is written by the greatest historian of our modern time. His name is Arnold Toynbee, a British historian. He wrote a book. Are you considering thinking about reading it?
Yeah, writing it down now.
Okay, but let me tell you this. After I give you some information about the book, you may not read it. Let me tell you why. It's 12 volumes. 12 volumes. Okay? You still okay with it? Right now, you're okay with it, right? 12 volumes. Okay. Over 7,000 pages. You still okay with it?
We still with you,
I
man.
checked out him, man. I checked out, but he got it.
Wait a minute. 3 million words.
We still with you.
So you may want to rethink that. But let me tell you what he said, and then I finish. Let me tell you what he said, right? And this is a non-Muslim. He's considered the greatest historian of our modern time. Non-Muslim. Listen to what he said. The solution to all international conflicts lies only in embracing Islam en masse.
Wow.
Because Islam is the only religion that can transcend nationalism. I see with great dismay that nationalism is now gaining grounds even among the bearers of the Quran. I will hope for the day when all humanity will break this idol and unite as the children of God. Non-Muslim Islam. That's the answer. Wallahi, that's the answer. Because once you deal with the root, you're going to solve all the other problems. You can keep going from this and that and that and that and that. You'll continue to do that forever, and you will never solve the problem. Because there's only one solution, and that solution comes from Allah. Allah take the people from the darkness, and He bring them into the light. That's what we have to do. 1400 years ago, a man, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 23 years, and look what happened. May Allah bless you. I love you both, man. You did a great job, and continue. I would stay for the next two, but I have another webinar to go to. So may Allah bless you, brothers. I love you. Keep up the great work.
Ameen. Barakallahu feek, Imam. We thank